Hello everybody, and welcome back to Certified Collectibles. This is another episode of First Appearance of the Week. This is Wednesday, October 4th, 2023. We'll be giving you all the first appearance in your comic shops today. Now this week we have another light video for you guys. I think we only have 3 first appearances, 4 honorable mentions, so only 7 titles on all to go through, but there's definitely some books in there worth picking up for your collection. So let's go ahead and get started for the first appearance of the week ending October 6th, 2023. First up from Marvel Comics, Black Panther number 5. This features the first appearance of kivu'ma, an evil spirit. Now, we always recommend picking up the first appearance of new characters in Marvel titles. You know, Marvel, Disney is still churning out a ton of media, whether for the small screen or big screen, and you really don't know where these characters that they're introducing in the comics may end up. You know, if they appear in a TV show, streaming series, or feature film, people do race back to the comics to try to find these first appearances. You know, in the Black Panther franchise, hugely popular. People do love this franchise, and the fact that they are introducing this character into the Black Panther standalone title series, this is one you do want to pick up for your collection. Even if it's going to be a little bit more speculative, Marvel, Disney is still churning on a ton of media. So in our opinion, the risk is worth the reward on these Marvel titles, so go ahead and grab this one. Next up from Marvel Comics, Gods number 1. This features the first appearance of Cubus Core, a being of pure corruption. This also features the first appearance of the Centaur of the Symptoms. Now, like we just mentioned a moment ago, it's typically worth picking up the first appearance of new characters in Marvel titles, and this here is also the premiere issue of this particular title series, and they are introducing 2 characters into this premiere issue. So in our opinion, this one here is one you definitely want to pick up and add to your collection. You know, you really don't know what Marvel has planned for these characters, but you know, for $3 or $4, you could be sitting on a huge winner here. If these characters hit the small screen or big screen, a lot more eyes get on these characters. People are going to race back to try to find this comic, and so you definitely want to pick this up at the cover price. Go ahead and grab this one. And finally, from Marvel Comics, Star Wars High Republic Shadows of Starlight number 1. This features the first appearance of Sol Agar. This is a 4-issue limited series that bridges the gap between Phase 1 and Phase 3 of the High Republic. Now, like we always mention with these Marvel published Star Wars titles, whenever they introduce a new character into these books, these are issues you definitely want to own in your collection. You know, the Star Wars franchise is still going super strong. People do love this franchise, and they've been bringing a lot of characters from the comic books into the streaming series and into the feature films. So you really don't know where any of these characters are going to appear. So you definitely want to own these at the cover price. Like I said, Star Wars, probably one of the most popular franchises and probably one of the most heavily collected franchises out there. So whenever they introduce a new character, pick these books up, go ahead and grab this one. And now for the honorable mentions. From Image Comics, Transformers number 1. This is the premiere issue of the Transformers ongoing title series published by Image. Now, this has been a big deal. There's been a lot of buzz about Image taking over the printing of the Transformers series, and they've been hyping this premiere issue for a long time. So this is one we do think you should definitely pick up and add to your collection. Now, this one here is going to be heavily printed just because they've been trying to push this particular series, and there has been a lot of hype about it. So they are going to print this pretty heavy, but just like they did for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Last Ronin, that book was heavily printed. But in the secondary market now, a 9/8 is still going to cost you a few $100. So in our opinion, this is one you definitely want to pick up and add to your collection. Even if it is a little bit more speculative, it's probably worth owning at the cover price and trying to chase it down years later for a lot more money. So go ahead and pick this one up. Next up from Boom Comics, Ranger Academy number 1. This is an ongoing series introducing the Ranger Academy. This was preceded by a free comic book day preview. Now, we put this one on the list because this is the premiere issue of this particular title series, and there has been some buzz about this particular series. You know, Boom Comics has had a lot of their titles picked up an option in the past, so whenever they have a new series like this and there's a lot of buzz around it, we typically recommend picking those up. They are going to be a little bit more speculative because you are specking on them being picked up in option, and there'll be a lot more eyes on these characters, and people will race back to the comics to try to pick up these first appearances. But you know, like I said, Boom Comics has had a lot of their titles picked up in option in the past, so for $3 or $4, in our opinion, the risk is worth the reward on this. Grab this one here for a spec if you can. If you can't, though, put it on your B-list and keep an eye on it. Next up from Image Comics, The Walking Dead Deluxe number 1. Now, this is a 20th anniversary reprint of The Walking Dead number 1, and this here is a newsprint edition. Now, we put this one on the list just because there's been a whole lot of buzz about this particular issue. Now, this is going to be printed on newsprint. It is printed in full color on newsprint, so the pages are going to be a little different than you're used to. And this particular issue is a reprint. This is not a facsimile. Of course, Walking Dead number 1 was black and white, so the fact that this is going to be in color is, of course, not a true facsimile. This is indeed a reprint. So like I said, we put this on the list just because there's been a whole lot of buzz about it, but you know, the buzz might be trying to make more out of this book than it is. We're going to leave this one here strictly up to you guys. This is a 20th anniversary reprint, so this one in here may be important to collectors of The Walking Dead, and like I said, this is a newsprint edition, so it's a little special in the fact that it is newsprint and not standard paper stock. But once again, we really don't know how important this is going to be in the future, and if this this is one worth adding to your collection for investment. So like I said, we're going to leave this one here up to you guys. It may be worth picking up the spec for $3 or $4, so grab it if you can. If you can't, then put it in your B-list and take a look at it later on. And finally from DC Comics, Detective Comics number 140. Now this is a facsimile reprint of the Riddler's first appearance. Now this is one we do think you should definitely pick up and add to your collection. Now this one here is a true facsimile reprint, and like we always mention with these facsimiles, these don't just reprint the art in the story, but also the original ads. These facsimiles are like you're going back in time and picking up these books off the shelf when they first hit the newsstands. So these are really cool. People do love these facsimiles, and they do trade at a premium in the secondary market, and they always sell out at the distribution and publisher level. So this one here is one we do think you should pick up. Go ahead and grab this one. So there you have the 7 titles that we have for you guys this week. Definitely some books in there worth picking up for your collection. So please feel free to drop some comments in the comment section below. Thumbs up if you like this video. And as always, please remember to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thank you for joining us here at Certified Collectibles, and we'll see you again next time.